Okay. Like to call meeting to order on November the 7th, 2023. At 4:30. Okay, would you like to do a roll call?
Commissioner Bailey.
Here.
Commissioner Gay.
Here.
Commissioner Owens.
Here.
Commissioner Bunting.
Here. Okay, Commissioner Bailey, would you like to do the invitation?
Oh, yes, please. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day that you've given to us and the blessings in it. We just thank you for the bountiful harvest that our farmers have been able to harvest at this time. We ask, Father, now that you would be with us through deliberations for the help the folks of Gratiot County. For it's in his name we pray, amen.
Okay, would you do the flag? Thank you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Okay, is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I think if we could remove item J5, the community development building. Isabella County has moved on with a different property where they will be storing some of their stuff, so we will not need to talk about that.
Okay.
That's J5.
Okay. You said J5?
Yep.
Okay.
No, the distance was too far.
Okay, we have okay, is there anybody in the public that would like to speak?
We got to approve the agenda first, Jan, and I move the agenda be approved as ordered. Then
Okay. Do we have a second?
support.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'd like to make we have a motion from Commissioner Bailey and a second by Commissioner Gay to accept the agenda. All those in order or all those approved?
Aye.
Okay, now we'll do, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike, public comment.
All right, as you may know, our emergency manager, Mike Soldis, resigned from the position of full-time emergency manager. He's going to stay on as a court officer a couple days a week. And after a stringent application process, I think we had 16 applicants for the position. We have filled that position at 30 hours per week. And I'd like to introduce Fred Harris, our new emergency manager. Come on up, Fred, please. Fred brings a wealth of knowledge to our emergency management position here in Gratiot County. He has an extensive law enforcement background, extensive emergency background, and I'll let Fred speak a couple minutes and we'll be out of your way, okay?
Good evening. Week 3, I'm on week 3 already digging into grants and regional documents. Fred Harris, I came from Cadillac up in Wexford County. I did 36 years as a police officer, 28 at the sheriff's office, last 14 as the undersheriff. Then I came down to CMU police as a police captain and tried to retire. That didn't really work. So I was too bored. So I'm enjoying EM so far. And I can't forget to mention that I'm married to the hardworking county prosecutor. If I forget that, I'll be in big trouble. So that's my background. Have a master's in business. I went to the FBI Academy. A lot of emergency management ties, but I'm enjoying being out there and learned a lot from Deputy Soltis over the last couple of weeks. So he left me on my own this week.
Well, it's better than he got when he started.
I understand that. He was very helpful to me.
Well, good.
Nice to meet you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice to meet
Thank
you
you.
too. Okay, we will,
Hold on a second. We have one
I'm sorry.
comment.
I'm sorry, yes, please.
On Thursday evening, between 6 and 7:30. There's going to be a function right here on the front steps of the courthouse, the north side of the courthouse. If any of you are interested in attending, it is the kickoff for Hope Not Handcuffs within Gratiot County. Chris has been involved in the process since it very began. When we started talking about it, all the meetings have been held right here in this room, well, actually in the side room here. But it's a project that all the law enforcement agencies within Gratiot County have agreed to do. And they'd like to do a big kickoff, kind of get the word actually out there to the media. So we are doing that this Thursday, the 9th, right out in front of the courthouse. 6 p.m. It starts at 6 p.m. It will be wrapped up by 7:30. So there'll be some light snacks and stuff there if you can attend. Thank you.
What do you do?
Hope Not Handcuffs is it's a nation, or it's really big here in Michigan, program where if someone is, let's say someone has a warrant for their arrest, but they also have a drug addiction and they seek help, and there's usually just a very small window of time when they're willing to get that help. Instead of us incarcerating them, we can then contact, there's going to be an actual contact kit right in. It's a blue bin in the sheriff's office, and it has all the essentials that we need to give these people. And then that initiates the process of an angel, someone who's going to come and work with them. They will coordinate to get transportation for them. Hope Not Handcuffs has openings that they can take people to all over the state of Michigan. They will allow, or we will then not arrest them. This isn't going to be if somebody's has a warrant arrest for a felony or some form of violent crime. This is for if someone has maybe a previous drug conviction that they didn't show up for court, a traffic violation, some of your other misdemeanor. A lot of people, unfortunately, that are addicted have some larceny type crimes. Instead of incarcerating them, and then, a lot of times they slip through the cracks and they don't get the help they need. We're trying to get them the help they need on the forefront. And it's been a very successful program. It's already spurned. We're meeting tomorrow for a Families Against Narcotics, a fan group that is also starting here in Gratiot County for families that have someone affected by, this tragic thing that happens in people's lives. So it's a really good thing. And I just wanted to make sure you guys were all aware of it, because I think it's going to be something really awesome for Gratiot County to have. So.
I do too.
Should the media not be available Thursday night? Who would be an appropriate person for them to reach out to for a recap?
Probably both, Sun and Gratiot Herald.
Probably I would put them in contact with Justine, the lady who's kind of heading this up. She's actually a Gratiot County native, who now lives up northern Michigan. But she's the one who has really spearheaded getting this thing going here in Gratiot County. So
If they reached out to you or I, we would be able to get them there.
yeah,
Contact information.
absolutely. Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak during a public comment? Okay.
Sign in.
No, just come up. Yeah.
My name is Catherine Tesson. I'm the Administrative Director of the Mid-Michigan Waste Authority. Bethany Township, the Village of Breckenridge, and Wheeler Township are members of the authority. We handle their solid waste services. I came out to introduce myself because with Part 115, and I'm not sure how familiar you all are, how much work you've already done on the requirements for Part 115. That's the requirement that the counties will have to rewrite their solid waste plan. Since some members of Gratiot County are part of the authority, I wanted to come out and introduce myself so that I could start putting names to all the faces. You would know who I was. We've started doing some work in Saginaw County already, very limited work. Didn't know where you all were. I was going to catch you after the meeting, give you my business card and say, this is who I am and this is why I'm here. But getting some blank faces about Part 115. So anybody familiar with that?
I'm on the board, or I'm Bethany. Yeah, Bethany Township is in my district. I haven't been to the last couple of meetings, but I know that they had changed to you guys.
I'll give you just the super brief bullet on part 115. Kind of started under Governor Snyder, continued under Governor Whitmer. The state of Michigan has passed legislation that finally made it all the way through in March of 2023 that requires each county to rewrite their solid waste plan. And as part of rewriting their solid waste plan, there's a requirement that every county talk to every bordering county and determine whether or not they want to do some work together. Now, the state is offering funding. I'm not an expert on this. I don't work for the state. So the state is offering funding to each county to help defray the costs of rewriting their solid waste plan. So essentially what's going to happen is the state, I believe through Eagle, is going to call for solid waste plans. The county executive or county board of commissioners has to decide who's going to take on that responsibility. And the county can appoint a designated planning agency, or they can say, we're going to let the state do it. And then the county determines, they appoint an administrator and a body to write the plan. And then as part of that, they have to appoint what's called a materials management planning committee. And the legislation has very defined roles of who has to be on the materials management planning committee. And the materials management planning committee oversees the work of rewriting the plan. They're overseen by the county approval agency, and then the board of commissioners oversees the whole shebang. So once they call for plans, you have 6 months to decide whether or not you're going to write your own plan. And then after you send that information off to the county saying, yes, we're going to do this, you have 3 years to write your plan. And you get $60,000 a year to write your plan, plus 50 cents per capita up to 150,000. And then if you work with a neighboring community, or neighboring county, you each get an additional $10,000. So that's very nutshell. I don't know if you have anyone in your county that's been working on this or focused on this or anything. So glad I came. And I'll come up to y'all after the meeting and give you all my card.
So at the end of the day, what are we supposed to have to do as a county? Just say we're gonna get rid of the solid waste? I mean, I don't understand.
No. At the end of the day, you don't have to do anything today. I don't work for the state. But what the state will do is they will call for plans. It's a official action. And then you have 6 months to give back a response that says, yes, our county is going to write our own plan. And then you have 3 years to write the plan. And then Eagle is developing all kinds of templates and toolkits to help each county write its plan, because the idea is that across all of the 134 counties in the state of Michigan.
83.
Pardon me?
There's 83.
Okay, that there's some consistency of what all the plans look like. And
So what is changing from what we're doing now to what they're expecting us to change to?
I don't know, because I don't know your county solid waste plan.
You don't have one.
Every county has one. You can probably find yours online. Essentially, some of the deliverables that are supposed to come out of it go to state of Michigan, part 115 Eagle. Try that, and that'll get you some places. What's supposed to come out of it is a collective understanding within your county of, are there any recyclables processing centers? Are there any hazardous waste centers? Is there a landfill? How does each individual municipality handle their solid waste? All of that kind of stuff. And then the driving factor behind it is that the state of Michigan has set as a recycling goal 45%. So it's to kind of lift everybody up and give resources to help meet that goal.
So it's really a recycling plan for the county.
Not really. I wouldn't call it recycling, because there's a big emphasis on organics, because organics the biggest bang for the buck. If you want to boost your rate, you go after organics.
Well,
Food.
processing.
Yeah.
Rate, what's rate?
You take your trash. Well, don't quote me on the formula, because there's a state of Michigan formula. But what we do is we look at how much trash and recycling is generated, and then we see how much recycling is generated. And so you have a percentage. Like if you generate 6,000 tons of trash and 600 tons of recycling, you have around a 10% diversion rate. So I'm not an expert from the state. I merely came out here because 3 of your communities are part of the authority and we're a neighboring county. I don't speak on behalf of the Saginaw County Board of Commissioners either. This was mostly a, hi,
I'm here if you need me.
I'm gonna go that far.
Going
I wanted to
I'm
just.
from the government. I'm here to help you.
I am old enough to remember Ronald.
Had
Reagan.
words from Ronald Reagan.
It's
Yeah,
right.
I knew who to attribute that to. But yeah. So
Well, do you have literature or just your business?
I have my business card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll do that right now. You guys look like you had an interesting 160-page meeting packet.
160 page.
Okay, well, we can continue on too. Was there anyone else? Okay. This is a good night for public comment.
Good evening, commissioners. I'm Monty Malik. I'm your new Director of Veteran Affairs for the county and the seat. Finally here. I know I was a few months in getting here from leaving the hospital and coming to here. Ashley native, grew up on the farm there with my folks at 5727. That immaculate lawn. That's my folks. Don't judge my house off their house. That's for sure. But grew up there, went away for 24 years in the service and then come back home to get an education in nursing and gonna head back out on the road with my wife, Tara. She's a military vet also. We were both canine handlers in the military. And we ended up getting a house in Ashley and we've been here ever since. I think we're coming up on, gosh, 16 years now. So we're here for a while and I'm excited at the opportunity to be helping the vets in our community. So if you ever have any questions or concerns, office just down the hall, stop in. And
What days are you usually in?
right now I'm here every day trying to figure out, get my feet underneath me. With the VA, you talked about the government. It takes a couple months just to get your proper credentials so you can fully do your job correctly. So Sue Edmonds is right there. She's on the job. So I'm learning from Sue and also trying to assist her so we can get maybe a few more veterans through in a week, just with me maybe helping on the paperwork side of it and things like that. But got to get in there, get my feet wet and figure out where we go from there. But be a good time.
Very good. Glad to have you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Okay, we'll continue on then. The consent agenda, does anybody want to pull anything from there?
With the consent calendar. Support.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Bailey and supported by Commissioner Gade to accept the consent calendar. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Although anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Our administrators report.
Well, I want to say thank you for coming in and speaking on the waste management planning. I actually do have a meeting up in Mount Pleasant tomorrow. We have been invited to look at, work with possibly with Isabella County. So to have multiple options. And if you would like to give Sheila your business cards, you would be able to then not have to go through the other 158 pages of our board packet tonight. I wanted to take a moment and run through the legal situation that we're in here with real quick before we get into the meeting with our resigned commissioner, who just happened to also be the chairman of the board. Now the chair is an individually elected position amongst this commissioners. So in order to fill the chair role, we would have to have another vote to fill that. Until we do fill that, obviously, our vice chair, Commissioner Bunting, will fill that role. You do have the opportunity to vote on that tonight, or we can wait until after we appoint a new commissioner and then vote on who that chairperson would be once the new commissioner is in. I would recommend waiting until the fifth commissioner is appointed. And then that way we wouldn't have, we shouldn't have the possibility of having a tied vote. So a majority should be able to get that through. Later on in the packet, we do have some unfinished business where we will then address the special meeting where we will look at the candidates for the commissioners, and I will talk about that in more detail then. Outside of that, we have been busy here at the county with continued negotiations with road patrol and corrections. We have also opened up negotiations with our central dispatch. Outside of that, it's been business as usual. Keeping the lights on, changing the light bulbs when they do need to be changed, and making sure that we continue operations. And that will be it for my administrator's report.
Do you think we'll go to collective bargaining with the deputies for their contract?
As far as going to arbitration,
Or arbitration?
it's possible. I don't think that we will, but it is possible.
Sheila said we're leaning that.
Well, and maybe I'm just trying to be an optimist too, and hoping that we don't.
We're basically waiting on the union right now.
Yep.
It's a waiting game.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the Commissioners Committee report, Commissioner Bailey.
Yeah, we've been on about all over the place. I think I had to talk to the road superintendent, Mark Kraft, on 2 different occasions. Apparently, I am what they call the 4th road commissioner. People call me when they have a bad road. And it doesn't help for me to tell them I'm not a road commissioner. I'm going to hear it anyway, right? So I try to help out. So on 2 occasions, one was in Hamilton Township, one was in Elba Township. On both cases, I was able to, with all of us working together, we got those situations resolved for now. The problem is farming, big oversized equipment on little roads, and it just tears them up. So and trust me, the county road commission is great. They've been working on those roads. Sometimes our citizens can't seem to have the patience to wait for their road to be next. So, but it's all good. It's all good. We got to talk to people and let them do that. We did have a Board of Health meeting. And it was business as usual. We discussed different aspects of what was going on. Other than that, all my special or township meetings come this next week, so I've had those already. So and I had one meeting at Breckenridge. Those people are doing good. In fact, they've started in earnest on their downtown park that we were able to give some funds to through ARPA. And they've got a lot of the foundation work in, gas lines in, restrooms started. They've got a lot of work going on over there. So all good.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gay.
Oh, well, I went to the health board meeting. I was a little late because I can't figure out where the place is yet, but I'm becoming more familiar with it.
Okay.
I ate chili here Thursday. We could go Thursday. And
We had the chili cook-off, the courthouse chili cook-off.
yeah, the styrofoam cup, they fill up the bottom and you got a sample of 14 different chilies. But more importantly, I got to talk to county people that I haven't talked to before, or I haven't talked very much to. And I got more familiar with them.
That's great. So did you try all 14 chilies?
Yeah, so you had to pay $5. I guess some people didn't pay $5.
Well,
And
when you ate 14 of them, I was full when I got done with my 14.
yeah, you gotta.
You did too, huh?
That's why they just filled the bottom of the styrofoam cup.
Uh,
But I didn't, they wanted you to vote, but in all honesty, I get mixed up.
You'd have
I
to do
didn't
14
even
again.
vote.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Gay. Commissioner Owens.
Well, I only paid $4, so I didn't taste anywhere near 14 of them, but they were all good. The Northern Michigan Counties Administration was canceled because of the MAC conference. And like George, all of my township meetings are next week. So that's it.
Okay, and I attended, thank you, Commissioner Owens. I attended the Alma City Council meeting, and all my meetings are this week. I have one just about every night, so I will report at the next meeting. Okay, we will continue on. We have tonight, Mr. Perkins from District Court. You may take the stand. You have to excuse, I got starting of laryngitis, so I sound terrible.
Good afternoon. I'm Charlie Perkins, Administrator of our District Court. Today, I'm appearing before you to request the Gratiot County Board of Commissioners approve District Court's request for the funding of temporary overtime. Specifically, county administration recently reminded all departments that within the county's benefit manual, hours of work subsection, that overtime shall not be authorized by elected officials, department heads, unless provided for as a separate line item in the department budget. It is also noted that the subsection states that special circumstances or extraordinary circumstances not foreseen during the budget process may justify special consideration for overtime authorization. As noted within the document I provided to each of you, District Court finds itself in an extraordinary circumstance which warrants special consideration for overtime authorization. Specifically, this week, one of our staff members began an extended medical leave, which will last between 6 and 12 weeks. In December, we will have a second staff member who will begin an extended medical leave for up to 6 weeks. In total, District Court is looking at the possibility of losing a total of 624 staff hours between now and January 27th of 2024. This is problematic as District Court's operations, even when fully staffed, are rather lean when considering the significant amount of work that our staff is expected to complete in a 40-hour week. As you'll note within the proposal I submitted, we are requesting temporary overtime funding in the amount of $20,755. So please note, this amount represents the maximum amount of overtime that would be expended if our highest paid clerk worked the entire 624 hours that we're losing courtesy of our 2 employees being on medical leave. Frankly, I don't think we'll end up using 624 hours. And frankly, I think that overtime amount, hourly salary will be shared between employees who are not paid that much. But I wanted to present the board with the worst case scenario, for lack of a better term. So also, as I noted within the proposal, no consideration, and by the way, that'd be on the bottom of the table that I have, that I provide each of you. Also, as I noted within the proposal, no consideration is given for the 24 hours per week of on-leave staff wages that are not paid by the employer courtesy of short-term disability insurance benefits. And Ms. Barnaby or Mr. Osterhoff could probably speak more to that if you needed further clarification. So once again, district court respectfully requests that the Board of Commissioners approve the proposal effective immediately. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Is there any questions from any of the commissioners?
20,000. Something.
Yeah, so I had it laid out in the proposal that, that
$20,755. He's asking.
On page
But
12,
you don't think we'll use that?
no, I do not think we'll need to use that much. Again, we have holidays coming up. We have staff that are already on, have approved PTO. But I did not want to come before the board and present anything less than the worst case scenario. No, I do not anticipate needing that amount of.
Where does the money go if it's not used
back in the general fund.
in the general fund?
Well, that's where it would come out of, wouldn't it?
That is correct. District court is funded by the general fund.
Can we afford it?
We do have the funds in the bank, and like you said, this would be an up to amount. So
I would move to approve the temporary overtime funding.
Or
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Owens and a second by Commissioner Gay to approve the $20,755 for district court. All those in favor say aye.
Question.
Yes, okay.
In here you state that, it's due to statutory. What is statutory? What's that do?
So for example, we have the statutory requirements of how quick we process our cases. Somebody gets arrested today, we have to have them, and we have to hear them via an arraignment, give them the opportunity to post bond and get them processed out. So and I can speak to the prosecuting attorneys here as well, because our statutory requirements, impact their operations. So point being is this, that we have to process cases in a specific amount of time. We don't have the liberty of, hey, we'll get to that next week. On a daily basis, we have to get cases out the door before staff leaves for the day.
So if you get a case that morning, it has to be done by afternoon.
Let's say somebody gets
Whatever.
arrested last night, we'll be 99% of the time, we'll be seeing that
So
individual.
they'll arraign them sometime during that morning or afternoon, right?
Yeah. So for example, on Monday, I had 10 arraignments that we completed beginning at 1:15. So we have staff that is waiting on the sideline to process those cases and get that information, get the court's arraignment process documented and forward to the jail so the jail can process individuals out of the jail.
Well, that's a daily thing. And if you're down to people, I can't explain to me how come the overtime has to come in, because your overtime is like, to me, after you've extended your 8 hours, you're into the overtime period.
So it's
So how does that work?
yeah. So first in our civil processes. So right now, one of our clerks, I have to be careful about how I identify individuals on medical status. One of the positions that we're losing is a dedicated civil clerk. So one of our criminal clerks who is the backup to that, we have several backups,
Mhm.
is now handling all the civil, so that all the civil work. So in order for that, all that work that has to be completed by the criminal, we have one person now doing two jobs, and there's just simply not enough time in the day for those individuals to complete all that work within.
Well,
8
okay, you
hours.
just mentioned criminal, so is that on a time frame too?
Still, all of our court operations are on timeframes.
Okay. So it's 24 hours, 48 hours?
Yeah, and there's honestly, there's a plethora of different time guidelines.
I'm just trying to figure out why we have to jump through so many hoops all of a sudden for some guy that didn't do very nice.
Well, Judge McDonald's you're preaching his singing his song.
I see he's up
He's
there.
on.
You want to add this to this, Your Honor? Unmute yourself. Matt, can you help him?
Here.
He says he's there.
Might be trying, there you go ahead.
There you go. Okay. You listen to our conversation there, Your Honor?
I absolutely am. Let me get to a little quieter place. I am outdoors.
Oh,
I'm out of state right now.
oh, okay. Oh, you're on vacation, aren't you?
I'm working remotely.
There you go.
I can attest to
Uh,
that.
So, Commissioner Bailey,
Yeah,
what my administrator, Mr. Perkins was speaking of specifically, relates to us having to process all of those cases generally within that 24-hour period after somebody is arrested. They're entitled to be arraigned. And so we've got that process in place to cover the weekends when the court's not open. That's the magistrate's work. During the week, when we're 2 staff members down, what will happen is Administrator Perkins will work with them on a flex schedule where they'll come in an hour and a half early in the morning, or they'll work an hour and a half, or an hour to an hour and a half later at night. And that might be 2 or 3 staff people in a day to process the additional work. Or rather than taking their 1 hour lunch hour, they'll take a half hour and work that extra half hour. So there'll be some overtime hours where somebody that would normally be working that 40 hours a week will put in 46, 48 hours a week, and they'll do it by flexing their schedule. Little earlier in the morning, over the noon hour, little earlier in the afternoon, but ultimately so we can get that paperwork and those orders processed and over to the jail. So in the same 24-hour period, that person could be released. And then the jail isn't burdened with having to continue to house them, account for them, etc.
okay. All right, I'm just curious how that all operated. I mean, according to statute, didn't mean a lot to me.
Sure.
My apologies.
No, that's all right. I just
Good question.
need to have it. I don't understand what's going on.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? No, I think we're ready. Although, do you want a roll call or would you? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion pass.
Thank you for your consideration. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate everybody's consideration.
Have fun, Your Honor.
Thank
The
you.
next, you're welcome. Have a good vacation. The next person is going to be Sheila Barnaby on a substance abuse policy.
Good evening, commissioners. So I'm essentially going to go over what was in your packet, and it says section 3. This packet is 4 pages long. This is our current policy when it comes to substance abuse. So when we have been doing our negotiations with CCLP for our road and corrections officers, we have said, okay, the sheriff's department uses our drug policy. Well, what we noticed is there are 2 times when we would want to be able to send our road patrol or our corrections officers in for drug testing that were not specified in the policy. So all I am asking is for us to add to our policy so that it is a policy that the sheriff's department can continue to use and does not have those gaps. So those 2 issues, which is in my memo, are anytime that there is a motor vehicle accident with, and that's regardless of fault, while on duty and operating a county-owned vehicle. So if somebody gets into a crash, rear ends somebody, they have to go in and be drug tested. This does exclude any times when there is a vehicle deer accident or something like that. Unless there is a reasonable suspicion by the sheriff or the undersheriff that they think that their deputy may be under the influence, then they can still send them in under that reasonable suspicion rule, which is already in here. The second is if a firearm is discharged while the patrol officer is acting on duty, and this excludes any shots fired to humanely put an animal out of its misery. So all we're asking is for those 2 additions. Gordon Love actually agrees with both of those and does think that it is important to have those included. So I'm just asking that those 2 measures be added to our policy so that the sheriff's department can use it.
Gordon Love is our county attorney.
Yes, thank you. Our
This is
council.
also applicable to other county employees too that might drive a county vehicle.
Great point.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Isn't this kind of common sense?
But if it's not in the policy,
No,
you
if
can't
it's
make
not
it
in
work.
policy,
You
then
can't make it work.
If it's not in policy, then it would just be the sheriff saying, oh, you have to go get drug tested.
Don't work.
But we didn't send the person yesterday. So then it's the sheriff making a decision of somebody's going and somebody else doesn't. And then we are liable for discrimination. So we just need to have it in policy. It's clear, then everybody knows if there's an accident, this is something that needs to happen.
I move to support it.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay, a motion made by Commissioner Gay and seconded by Commissioner Owens. Is there any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Should pass. Thank you all. Thank you. Good job. Okay, Matt, IT.
Good evening. I had a few contract renewals that I wanted to speak with you all about that are all IT related. So the first one is our telephone and internet service contract that we have with Win Telecom. They've been our telephone and internet service provider for quite a few years now. And over the course of time, we've been renewing that contract in shorter and shorter increments to help align it with a capital improvement project that we've scheduled. This is to replace our phone service and our phone system all at once. So what I'd like to do this year is renew it for 12 months, have it expire at the end of this fiscal year, and that will give us this fiscal year to put our phone contract and our phone system modernization project out for bid and be able to get bids for both that project as well as the service as well. Wintel has generously offered to make our monthly payment less than what we're actually paying now, even though we'd be renewing it at a shorter contract amount. We're currently paying around, I believe it's $4,000 a month, and our renewed bill would be closer to like $3,700 a month. So we're saving $300 a month for each month.
Is the savings of $300? Did you say, Matt?
Yes.
Okay. There's just a lot of numbers I'm trying to go through here.
This time we're gonna save.
Yeah, saving money. Believe that?
Or that's, I really like that.
I would ask the board to renew that contract for 12 months or for a 12-month term.
Right on top of that, Tim, taking a motion.
I motion
We have a second.
Yeah, support.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Gay and second by Commissioner Owens. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone that opposed say nay. Motion pass.
And then the second contract I wanted to speak to was our web hosting contract with Civic Plus. They're the company that we pay to retire. And typically, the way this has worked is each year they'll increase the amount we pay per year by 5%. This year, they're actually increasing the amount we pay per year by 19% this year. They sent me quite a lengthy document explaining why they're doing that, as well as I met with them so that they could go through that explanation again. And it kind of boils down to some improvements that they're making.
Hey, Matt, I cannot hear you really well.
Let me move up a little bit closer. Yeah. Is that a little bit better?
Yes, that's better.
Sorry about that. Some of the reasons they are increasing it more this year is due to some additional security improvements they're making on their web product. And they're also bundling in some additional services as well. I've been happy with their service. We just went through a website revision project with them where they updated the look and feel of our website about a month and a half ago, and that project went really well. So I would like to continue doing business with them. They have, during my meeting, assured me that next year they're going to go back to the 5% increase. per year rather than keep bumping it up 19% each year. Yeah, so that's really all I had to say about that, unless you all have any questions.
What's the contract? How much is the contract for?
Yeah, the contract is, let's see, it would be this year with the 20% included, it would be 41, let's see, $4,139.
That's per month?
Nope, that's for the whole year.
Year, okay.
Here. So, yeah.
Good.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So. Work.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Owens and second by Commissioner Bailey. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion passed.
And then the last two contracts I wanted to speak with you all about, they don't need to be renewed at this time. This is more just for your information, but one of them is with VC3. That contract will go up for renewal at the end of this fiscal year. One of the things that Chris and I worked with them on, though, was to add support for the airport location so that they'll begin supporting the IT infrastructure over at the airport. And then we also removed support from the South Annex building because that building is unoccupied right now. And they were willing to do that without increasing our costs or anything. They just swapped those two locations out. So we went ahead and got that contract updated.
So you'll bring that to us when it's ready, or?
That one, when I spoke with Chris, we decided that that one didn't necessarily need to be brought before the board to be signed off on because there was no increase in cost and yeah.
Wash.
The contract
Right.
was underway.
Gotcha.
So just swapping of those two locations.
Okay.
Yep, and then the last contract that will also be coming up for renewal quite soon in April of next year, April 2024, is our contract with Applied Innovation. They're the company that we pay to support all of our printing equipment, and they also supply us with consumables, so toner and fusers for those machines as well. We're kind of evaluating what we want to do with that service product in the future, but right now, Civic Plus, still thinking about Civic Plus. Applied Imaging and I will be going through all of our locations to inventory all the printers and make sure everything that we have is where we expect it to be. And we'll also be touring the different departments to speak with staff in those departments to see if there's anything they are having issues with or any concerns or feedback that they have. I've also emailed department heads this week to ask them to provide me with feedback about how they feel that contract is going and that vendor is doing. I think things have been going well so far, but I wanted to get some feedback from the department heads too.
So Matt, if it wasn't going well, would you ask Stephanie to go outside and so we'd bid it out again, or how would you work that?
Yeah, I think that's a conversation we definitely have to have. If I got overwhelming feedback that it wasn't going so well, yeah, we would probably look to, try to figure out what we needed to do to address that.
Good.
And yeah, that's the last one I had to speak with you all about. Thank you.
Is there any other questions that anybody has? And you don't need any kind of motion on that.
Nope, for those last two, I don't need a motion at this time. I just wanted to make you all aware of those two.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you. Okay, our next one is permit fee increase, and that's our administrator.
Yeah. So our community development department houses our permits subsection. And they have done a recent review of comping out what our permit fees are compared to counties of similar size. When we determined what similar size meant, we went with resident income because income is typically related to the housing market, and the housing market is what the permits are pulled on. In the packet that was provided, we included the comparable counties. We included Hillsdale, Branch, Mecosta, Sanilac, and then we also included the state of Michigan fees for what they charge for that. Throughout this, you'll see the acronym ECV, which is the equalized construction value. So it would essentially be the value of what of the structure that you're building, whether it's a home or an outbuilding. Deandra Messer put this study together. You'll see her name pop up frequently because she's one of our rising stars here at the county. And she did a very good job comparing what our fees were compared to those comps. And what she found was the same thing, that the majority of the people that build in our county have said, is that our permit fees are significantly lower than those of our peers. And we expect that our permit fees will be lower than our surrounding counties. We're not going to charge the same amount as what Clinton County would charge to their residents, or what Isabella would charge, because they have higher income, build bigger houses. But what Deanna put together was a 3-year plan for step increasing for the permit fees. This has been laid out here for you. Year one is expected to bring in a little bit more than $18,600 more. Year two would be expected to bring in about $5,500 more, and year three would expect to bring in about $7,000 more. They have worked with individual builders in the area. They've shared this plan with them, and it has been accepted, informally. So what I'm asking this board to do is to accept this plan in this 3-year incremental steps for increasing permit fees in the Gratiot County.
I guess my question would be why is this money goes into the general fund, right?
This does not.
It does not?
No, permits is I should have explained that. It operates as a special revenue fund, meaning that tax money does not fund the department. Only the permit fees fund the department. So Deandra's salary is paid by permit fees, not by a millage or not by the general fund or a grant. So it's a self-sustaining program. In order to continue to sustain, to keep up with the 3%, 4%, 5% salary increases, to keep up with the increased costs through applied innovation that Matt has been talking about. These permit fees raise the money to pay for the cost of the department.
I have several questions. Another one here. What does ECV mean? Those initials?
That is equalized construction value. So that is the value of the structure that is being permitted to be built.
And the other question I have is, it says here $10 for the wind turbines cost square feet for ECV. So what would that mean? It's on page 162.
What's it on?
Yeah.
So the permit would be $10 for square.
3 different permits that go to those windmills, so.
So that would be the square footage of the foundation.
There's 3 different types of permits that go on each wind turbine. You have the footing.
Right.
This would be the footing?
Yes. Footing foundation.
So it's that per square foot.
Okay.
They're 30 feet in diameter.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is that the permits for the foundation when they first came in back in 2012, 2013 were $3,000 per wind turbine.
Well, that would be about right. But
300 square feet.
yeah.
Would be 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And so now we even have more wind turbines. I'm confused why we need to, what I'm looking at is this.
We're not increasing that.
You
That's
got,
not one of them that's being.
and Jan, you must remember, there aren't any wind turbines going to Gratiot County from this point forward.
That's right, but we got a lot of them out there that we're collecting taxes off of.
They don't go into that permit department. They only go by permit.
That's only pulled
Well,
before.
let me give you a different picture. I just was told this last week that there was a guy that bought this house from a friend of mine. And it's a veteran, and he's gonna lose it because the interest rate went up 3 times. And of course, his veterans pay doesn't. And that's what I'm seeing is that we keep going up on all these things. This is for the local people that live here. You're asking them to pay more money to put in a porch or build a garage or do these little things. And they're, you know, their home. And to us, it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're on a fixed income, it's a lot. And also, as I drive through St. Louis, Alma, and I see closed stores, one after the other, that are closed. Nobody's reopened them, and they've been closed for now over a year.
Where are those taxes gonna come from?
But they still pay tax on that property, but nobody's gonna go in there.
Don't
and do it.
anymore.
Pardon?
A lot of them don't anymore.
But if you're gonna build a home, you're going to have the means to build it. You're gonna have the money to build it. And
Nobody's
pulling
gonna-
the permit is
Nobody's
part
gonna
of
build
it.
it at the interest rate. The interest rate went up 3 times now this year. In fact, Chuck Murphy, who used to sit on this board, he works for a company that when they have 12 people that are no longer, they're behind on their payments, ready for foreclosure. He goes out to see if they're still there. What he tells them, keep paying. They don't want that house back. Just keep paying what you can pay. They have no intentions of taking the home back from them. So what I'm saying is that people are getting deeper and deeper in debt over this interest rate.
Those people wouldn't be buying permits, would they?
Wouldn't do what?
Wouldn't be purchasing a permit to build anything, would they?
No, they're not buying anything, no.
That's right. So that would not affect this.
The other-
Rating would not affect them.
The other question I have on this, what is, I didn't get a chance to look at our budget because I'm very busy. But anyway, what is the budget for them? How much money are they taking in
We're actually,
a year?
this is the only department that is gonna be running a deficit. And when I presented the budget to you for this permits department, I said that I was gonna work with them to find a way so that they would not run a deficit, and this was our
So what do
solution.
we run in a deficit? If you've got, do we have 70 wind turbines come in at $3,000 each?
But
And you said
they are
there's
coming
3
in,
permits.
they're not,
Well,
we are not collecting permit fees.
yeah, but I'm
for
saying,
existing.
how can they be in a deficit right now? You had 70 go in over at,
It won't be right now, but they will be if we don't keep.
and you got another 70 over here on the other side of the county.
But none of
Now
them in
you're
this fiscal year. None of them in this fiscal year.
Well, that money will come in. They have to pay the permit as soon as they start putting it in.
But they've already paid those permits for the ones that are going up.
Oh,
They paid those.
right.
Okay,
So that's why.
I hear
there's a
there's
deficit.
26
We're not
more.
collecting
yeah.
it this year. And if there's 26 more, I guess that would be good news. and
I would
it's
hate
unexpected.
to think with all the money that we've been bringing into the county in the last 10, 12 years, that we're sitting on the poor end of it, especially with permits. But anyway, I gotta tell you, I would probably go up a little bit, but not for 3 years in a row.
Well, that was the idea, not to do all of it at once.
Well,
And this puts
How
us,
do you figure that? Because let me find that
and this
page.
puts us in the middle of the pack as far as what counties our size charge for permits. It doesn't put us on the high end.
Well, you're gonna raise it in January 2024, $18,633.
That would be the expected revenue increase,
Okay,
yeah.
and then in October, the same year, another 5,486. And then in October of 2025, another $6,943. I gotta tell you something, if I owned a house, I wouldn't go get a permit, I'd just go do it. And
But if you owned a house, you wouldn't need a permit. That's what we've been trying to say.
if you have to add on, I think it's in here, if you add on a porch outside, or if you add another wing onto your garage, do you have to get a permit to put a roof on your house?
I believe in St. Louis you do. I don't think you do anywhere else in Gratiot.
Okay, well, these are the things that are important to me. You're asking me to raise these prices. I think that's terrible. Because right here alone, 18,633, and then add on another, let's say 12,000, you're raising that $30,000 in a year.
On the flip side of that, if we continue to run deficits in this department, we wouldn't be able to pay the employees.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check I have all of the budget books, and I'm gonna check them. Because I thought that I thought all that money went into what I'm saying is all their money goes into general fund, I thought, and we turn around and paid their payroll. And so are they part of the union over there?
They are part of the union. The money does not go into.
And don't you have to have a permits office for every county?
We could contract with the state of Michigan.
So I'd like to know what the state of Michigan is. I'd like to table this.
They actually, and that's fine, we can if that's, but the state of Michigan, the information for the state of Michigan is there, and if we have to lay off which I'm not saying we will, but just if we were to have to lay off our permits department, the cost of the permits will go up significantly more than what this proposal is.
Another thing too, in the summertime, if I recall right, not the summer, but the winter time, it was always pretty quiet during the permits time. People aren't building, they're not gonna build a porch, or they're not gonna put a roof on, they're not gonna do a lot of stuff like they would do in the summertime. And it was always slower. So, but anyway, I'd like to see the numbers on it. I meant to come in and ask you for them tonight, but
Which numbers exactly?
I'd like to know the money coming in and going out. I'd like to see I can look it up in my budget book to see the numbers. I've just not been home since I've been home. So, but that's up, I mean, there's 4 commissioners here. So, I mean, I'm just one person out of 4. And I can't make any motions anyway. So, it's up to you guys. I don't know how do you guys feel? How do you feel, Tim?
Well, it sounds like, are these permits, they're tied into new construction?
No, yes and no.
No, not all. I mean, there's a whole huge list of them here. I mean, anything from
Building a deck to an outbuilding to anything that you would construct to,
garage, pole barn,
yeah.
even above ground pools, there's permits for those.
I think we're getting a jacuzzi.
That don't,
Does I have to pay a permit on it?
And for a jacuzzi, I'm not certain. I don't think you do. I think for a pool you do, but for a hot tub,
I'm concerned about, for the old high school in Alma. It's just, the whole block is open. And I've heard
Gemini got
years
that.
ago that housing is going, I don't know what type of housing, hopefully it's higher end, because I think we have a lot of low income housing.
Well, right now you can't find any place hardly. I mean, there's a waiting list to get into an apartment in all of Gratiot County, just about.
So why do you think, Chris, that they're not building like where the old high school is, or where the Big Boy and Travel Lodge, they kind of
it's not because of the building permits, because of property taxes.
interest rates also.
Interest rate's a big part of it.
And that
Not
is
because of building permits.
that has nothing to do with the permits.
No,
Oh, but you still, if you're gonna build something, and well, a good example is out there by the Big Boy. What is the interest rate right now? Well, I'll tell you
Oh,
this, my
8%
credit cards are
on
over
average.
8% interest rate. I thought, you gotta be kidding me. And yet the stock market's down and the interest rates are up.
Yeah.
My concern is what's gonna happen this next year politically.
If we don't act on this, Chris, I heard you say that it'll
We are in-
be worse.
We are not in a position where our employees are safe right now. I just want to make sure that I'd use that as a worst case
How
scenario.
many employees are there?
Yes,
How many?
3 employees.
3? One of them? Okay. What I'd like to know is what their salaries are and their hours and how much money has been, I'd like to see all the money coming in and going out. And the overhead. They're no longer in this building. They're in the building across the street.
They are in this building.
They are back in here? Okay.
Yes.
Um,
How do you feel about it? Or go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I motion that we accept Chris's suggestion on the permits.
On all 3? It's gonna go up 3 times. It's 1,800. January 1st, October, it goes up another 5, and the following October, it goes up another 7, almost 7,000. So it's gonna go up. It's gonna go up 30,000 in a year. Let's see, January, well, almost a year and a half.
I support Tim's motion.
Okay. A motion by Commissioner Gay and a second by Commissioner Owens. All those, this roll call.
Commissioner Owens,
Yes.
Commissioner Bailey,
Yes.
Commissioner Gay,
Yeah.
Commissioner Bunting.
No. Okay.
You can still come in and we can still.
Oh, yeah, I still would like to do that. Yeah, I will.
But thank you. I appreciate that. This will allow the permits department to stay self-funded.
Okay. Okay. Okay, the next thing that we have to do is the resignation, I can't say resignation from Sam Smith. I gotta read the system of the special meeting. Okay, 2 things. We've got to accept his resignation. And the other thing is to set up a meeting for next Tuesday, is it? At 4:30?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, the resignation, do I have a motion to accept that?
I have a motion to accept Sam Smith's resignation.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Gay and a second by Commissioner Owens to accept the resignation of Sam Smith. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Now, the next thing is to set up a special meeting to interview and review the candidates for consideration to appoint a commissioner for the 4th district.
And can I make a comment?
Yes.
I put interview, you definitely do not have to interview. You can just review the applicants and you can make your nomination or your acceptance of the applicants that have come in. But along with setting the special meeting, if we can make a deadline of November 9th at 12 p.m., that I have enough to get a packet to you by Friday so that you can review the applicants and review their resumes and cover letters so that you have that ready for Tuesday. So if we can make a deadline of November 9th with a special meeting on November 14th at 4:30
To review the applications.
to review the applications.
What is the 9th? I mean.
That was the deadline for the
The
application.
deadline, okay, the
Yes,
deadline.
so that gives them,
Okay, the deadline, so we're making a motion for the deadline to be November the 9th. And our meeting will be November the 14th at 4:30 here in the Commissioners' Room to make that decision.
So
Do I have, okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Owens and second by Commissioner Bailey. I just told you all of it, and so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion passed.
So a couple questions about this meeting coming up.
Yes.
Is it this board's intention to interview the candidates?
You just decided to look at
No, we're just
the
gonna look at
applications?
applications.
applications.
So you will not need
Don't have
our
to.
assistance in preparing any questions or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Is there a deadline?
Well, when is the deadline that we have to,
That's
we have to? What is, we can, I understand we can vote on the 14th.
Yes,
When do they have to be installed into office?
16th is a 30-day deadline. If they're not,
Sam.
Yes, the calendar. We need a calendar.
Sam
Table.
gave us this letter, which is the 16th, so you will need to make a decision on the 14th.
And then that, whoever that would be would have to come in and get
Sworn in.
sworn into?
Yeah.
Okay,
And I-
I
and
want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
We also have to appoint a chair.
Yeah, that'll all be done. That,
Well, that
on
can
the
be,
17th,
that can be done.
Yeah, I
21st.
think,
21st. Okay.
I think what we decided to do, Tim, is to wait till we have the full complement of commissioners.
Five.
Yeah.
Commissioner.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
But I think, can I just make clear? Chris was asking, is it your intention then to not ask the candidates any questions? And you're just gonna pick it from the resumes that you get?
Applications.
Yes.
Because he had a concern that we want to make sure that we are fair across the board and ask the same questions and that they're appropriate questions.
Yeah. Well, I think also we need to understand that we're appointing someone until the next election next year.
Yeah,
And so,
that would be an understanding.
yeah, we need to, and otherwise, and if we don't move on this quickly, we're gonna have to have another election this year, which is very costly.
Yeah, we don't.
And so I think that's important that the public and also the candidates know. So we will read these and you know, most of us know somebody probably that's gonna apply for the jobs. And make a decision, and then the election is next, actually, August.
Well, if you were primaried, yes,
Primary, yeah.
The primary is August.
but 1 year from today is the election.
Oh, yeah.
I can believe that, 1 year from today.
Don't be mad.
And they would still, anybody that's applying could still run, I would think.
Well, there's no, yeah, certainly.
And so, anyway, so we are, and what this is, on the 9th is the deadline. On the 14th is our next meeting. And on the, what's the next date after that? The 21st? The 21st is when we will swear that person in.
They'll have to be sworn in by the 16th.
I will be prepared to swear them in that evening.
Oh, okay, that'll be good. And then business as usual. Okay,
If not, I will call them in the following day.
okay, that would be good. Okay, any questions? Did we make the motion already, or do we gotta do that?
I have a motion and a second, but I don't know that you guys
I don't think we
called
voted
it.
on it.
Okay,
No, we haven't voted yet.
okay, I'll, this too, a roll call on this.
Commissioner Bailey,
Yes.
Commissioner Gay,
Yes.
Commissioner Owens,
Yes.
Commissioner Bunting.
Yes. All yeas and motion pass.
I make a motion that we would suspend the regular meeting and go into the airport authority meeting.
Support.
Oh, yeah, it's not. I would like to see us just do part.
Only going to take a minute.
You don't have any paperwork or anything that we can read over?
I wouldn't, no. Mm-mm.
Okay,
There you go.
I just need to know.
It has an A in the middle.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I don't represent the county or the state, so I was just here because,
do you represent the company that we would pick, or?
no. Mm-mm. So 3 communities in Gratiot County are part of the Mid-Michigan Waste Authority. The Michigan Waste Authority is not a hauler or a company. We act collectively to get better pricing for garbage services. So not every community in Gratiot County is part of the authority, but as a courtesy, because some are, I came to introduce myself. So we're not a service that you hire or anything like that.
Oh, okay, then.
And those three are Pine River, St. Louis, and Bethany.
No, they're Bethany Township, Wheeler Township, and the Village of Breckenridge.
Thank you.
Ronald Reagan,
Appreciate it.
voting guy.
Okay,
So we have had, since our last authority meeting, one more application for the advisory board, and that is, the sole purpose of going into this authority, meeting tonight is to either accept or decline the application for Kurt Giles, the city manager of St. Louis. That would make a sixth member. There would still be one open position. The idea is to get the advisory board together to discuss amongst themselves who they think would be a good seventh member. But that's what I'm here asking the authority board to do, is to either accept or decline the application from Kurt.
I'll make a motion that we accept Kurt's report.
okay,
Term ending 2025 or 2024, Chris? Doesn't it matter?
Let me pull up his application real quick. One-year term.
okay, a motion by Commissioner Bailey and second by Commissioner Owens.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Gay. Commissioner Gay. That we accept,
You could use the one.
to accept the, application of Kurt Giles from St. Louis. He is the administrator or the, what do they call him?
City manager.
Or-
City manager.
Yeah, city manager of St. Louis.
So is that it on the airport?
For up until, what's the date? 2024, the end of 2024?
Yes.
Okay,
December 31st.
December 2024 on the airport. Side. Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion pass.
Make a motion that we return back to the regular scheduled meeting.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Bailey and supported by Commissioner Gay to go back into the regular meeting. And all those in favor say aye. On the motion pass. Yeah. Okay, do we have another person?
Comment.
Do we have another person that we have one more seat to fill in the airport?
The advisory committee will take care of that.
Okay, that's what I wondered. Okay, then, is there, I have a page. Just a minute.
One more public comment.
Yeah, any public comment from the audience?
Any of the guys in the back want to say anything?
Are sure?
I move to adjourn. Move to adjourn.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Motion pass.